Hello the internet, hope you're all well, thanks for stopping by. I have another consumer test and review for you. And today I'm looking at this, the Eufy Solocam E42 twin pack solar powered security camera kit. This also comes with a individual hard drive kit, so you don't have to install memory cards into it. You don't have to subscribe to any cloud subscription plan. It's all there ready to go for you. 4K solar powered, and I'm going to be putting it up against my own 4K solar powered security kit, which is this, the Tapo by TP-Link 4K solar camera powered kit. I've had that for about a month now, and my opinion has been rather mixed on it. I'm a big fan of the TP-Link Tapo kit, and that is the 10th camera I've got in their range, but that one, not been so keen on it. So I'm going to see how we get on with the Eufy kit and see if it may be time to change to Eufy from Tapo. So let's get on and test it out. Okay then, let's open up the box and take a look at what we've got inside. This is a twin pack of the E42 solar powered cameras by Eufy. You also get a single hard drive enclosure, and it is just a hard drive enclosure. You will have to provide your own SATA hard drive to go inside this unit. It does come with a 16GB memory already installed, but only 13GB of those are available to you, and with two 4K cameras you are going to fill that up pretty quickly, so you will need to consider the extra expense of buying an SATA hard drive to go inside that enclosure. These are your fixtures and fittings. There's the mounting unit. That's the mounting unit for the solar panels. There's two of everything in there. Underneath all of this bit of cardboard, you will find the two solar panels. There's plenty of cabling, and they do suggest mounting the solar panel away from the camera, pointing at the sun to maximize its exposure to sunlight. This is the mounting unit, which slides into the top of each camera, and there's two little buttons on either side to press in so you can release it quickly. In the hard drive enclosure, which you can access by pressing down on the grey top, you'll find the SATA enclosure. There's a single screw to release it, slide it out, and it's in there that you mount your SATA hard drive. Slide it back in again, tighten it up again, and you're ready to go. At this point, I would recommend charging the unit up overnight just so it's at full charge, and then decide where you're going to put it in the garden. I'm going to be mounting it on this, my little test rig, to go alongside the TP-Link Tapo C660. Before you install your camera, you're going to need to add it into the Eufy app, available on iOS and Android. We're going to need to add all of the cameras and the home base, so select the home base and then select the home base S380. Connect it to a physical connection on your router by an Ethernet port. It doesn't connect by Wi-Fi, it needs to be a physical connection. So go ahead, connect everything up. It will take a minute or so for all the lights to come on, and then you'll need to scan a very small QR code underneath the hard drive unit, which is a bit of a pain in the backside because I'd already plugged it in and covered it with a load of other stuff. This on the screen at the moment, the face management, facial recognition by AI. You can either upload a photograph or get it to take a photograph of you, and it will store it in its memory, and it'll recognize you and any other family member that you choose to upload. It's actually quite a useful function. It's one of the things that really stood out as being very useful. It also recognizes your pets too. Once you've set the home base up, you can then go ahead and add your cameras. Give them a name so you can tell them apart, and then a location of where you've put them. Then you get to choose whether to optimize battery life or surveillance. I've gone with optimal surveillance. Here in the video settings, you choose the streaming quality. It's set to auto, but you can manually override it to whatever you want. And this is the recording quality. That's perhaps the most important bit. In the motion detection section, you can set the detection sensitivity and the detection type, and whether you want to do AI tracking. Now, what on earth am I doing here? This is my little experiment. I'm laying out these plates at 3-meter intervals so you can easily see what the quality is like at those distances and what the sensitivity is like of motion detection. And this tripod here, I'm also going to mount my iPhone, so you're going to have 3 cameras here. Because we know that the 4K on an iPhone is very good, we're going to use that as the benchmark to compare both the Eufy and the Tapo. So here we go, we're going to mount up my iPhone. It's an iPhone 14 Pro. This is what the quality of that camera looks like. Proper 4K, you know this is a good benchmark. Then we're going to have a look at the Eufy camera, the E42. You can see definitely not as sharp, and this is the Tapo. Now, the Tapo is actually relatively sharp. However, you'll notice instantly that it's cutting my head off quite a lot of the times. That's because the range of motion on the dome camera isn't particularly good. You've got to mount it really quite high for it to be able to look far in the distance. Now, I'll draw your attention to my hoodie. I've got a McLaren hoodie on, and the reason I'm wearing that throughout this entire video is because the wording is a sort of similar sort of size to a car's registration plate. So if you can't read it on the footage, you're not going to be able to read a car's registration plate either. And really, until you get to this point here, the 6 metre distance, you're struggling to read anything. If you were to zoom in on it now, you don't get a great deal of detail. Likewise, you don't get a great deal of detail on the face. I mean, I know that's me. It is me. I was there. But I struggle to recognise myself from a great distance on either of these cameras. I mean, at 15 metres here, I don't expect to recognise myself on any of these cameras, even the iPhone. But it takes until you get to well within the 6 metres for you to be able to recognise anyone. And in the case of the Tapo, you've got to get to 6 metres before you can even see my head. But at least when you can see me, you can read the detail, you can recognise me. The Eufy's got a blurriness to it, whereas it's much sharper on the Tapo. Okay, let's have a look at some nighttime footage. That's what the cameras look like when they're in infrared mode. That's what someone can see when they're approaching the cameras in night vision mode. What I'm doing here is a low light experiment. It's night time, but I've got what I call the landing lights on in the garden. So this is what it looks like with some artificial lighting. However, with no lighting whatsoever, you get this. This is in infrared mode. Tapo on the left, Eufy on the right. Again, the Eufy on the right, you're losing some of the detail, I think. There's definitely more sharpness with the Tapo on the left-hand side, but that said, I don't think either of them are particularly brilliant, and I think you'd struggle to recognise anyone that you didn't know from the footage of either of these two cameras. I mean, really, I'm not that impressed. Okay, let's see how quickly we can access the camera from the app and navigate around. The Eufy and the Tapo apps are open at the moment, so I'm going to hard close these two down so that neither of them have got a head start. I'm going to open the app, navigate to the live view, see how long it takes for the app to access the camera. Then we're going to navigate around the camera with the little joystick for the pan and tilt, and then access one of the recorded events, see how long it takes to access one of those. So let's do the let's do Eufy camera first. So let's open the Eufy app up, click on that to go to the live view. It's loading the live view. There we go, we've now got a live view, so what's that, a couple of seconds delay there. If you click on this button down here, it brings up the joystick, there it is, and move it right, and move it left. So not too bad, probably about a second's delay maybe, about a second's delay. Let's come out of this and go to the events. It's up there we go, and go to events down the bottom there, and you can choose all the events that it might have recorded. So I'm going to click that second one down. It's a 1 minute long bit of footage, so it loads up pretty quickly. I would say that it's taken a while for it to activate and to record anything. The dog's managed to run all the way down to the bottom end of the garden, so that's not ideal, but it loads up pretty quickly. So that's actually loading from the hard drive, which is in that building just around the corner there, which is not too bad, not too bad. So let's close that down and go to the Tapo app, click on that one, and it's the sim bunker, that one there. And there you go, live view straight away. So that's definitely quicker than the Eufy. Let's go to the pan and tilt function. Joysticks here. That's ever so slightly quicker, I think. So we can press that. It'll move it around. I think that's quicker than the Eufy, that is. If we then go to, close that one down, access the playback. So we click on that there. Let's select the same thing. So that's probably that bit of footage there, isn't it? So the dog is down here. That's probably a similar sort of trigger, that is. It's pointing in slightly different direction, but it's the same bit of, same recording time, but it's still taking the same sort of time to activate. But also pretty much instantaneous access of the footage. So there, it loads up pretty quickly. I would say that the Tapo app navigates just that little bit quicker, and the live view and response to you using the pan and tilt is just that little bit quicker with the Tapo camera. So it's nearly 7 o'clock on Friday evening, which means it's been exactly 1 week since I set up the Eufy E42 Solocam in my garden. What do I think of it? Well, sadly, I don't think it's lived up to the expectations I had for it. I had really high expectations for this. Eufy are a pretty decent make. The overall cost of it is quite expensive, even though you are getting 2 cameras and the hard drive, the network attached storage system. It's just still not lived up to expectations I had for it. No, it's gone toe to toe with my own Tapo C660 kit, which I've had in operation for just over a month now, and that also hasn't lived up to my expectations. The Tapo cameras are usually really, really good. I've got 9 other cameras, which are all excellent, but the C660, I've been a bit disappointed with it, which has been a shame. Mainly because of the camera. The actual footage from the camera is pretty good. It responds well to motion, and it's using the same Tapo app, which is fantastic. But the battery on it is dire. It's obviously plugged into the solar panel. But even as we're, what are we? Sunset is at 7 p.m. and sunrise is at 7 a.m. So we're exactly 12 hours of daylight per day. And it's not replenishing its battery enough. It's losing 7 to 8% of battery every single day. And if it's a windy day, when there's a lot of motion detections, it's going down by 15-20%, which means at least once a week, I've got to come in and charge it inside the house. I've got to plug it into a USB port and charge it up, which is not ideal. It's okay when it's at head height, or I can at least reach it and bring it in. But if I wanted to mount it somewhere up on high, that's not going to work. I've got to get a stepladder out. The Eufy, fortunately, that's its strong point. The battery is really good, or at least, should I say, the solar panel is really good, because at the moment, it's like I say, it's been 1 week since it's been operational. I charged it the night before I set it up. Let's have a look at what the battery is on it at the moment. So you've got to go into the settings for it, which I can't see there at the moment. Where are these? That one there, settings, and go to power manager. We're at 92%. I've not charged it up myself. I've not brought it in. It's been charging from the solar panel all week. I've done some pretty rigorous tests, and it's at 92%. I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. Shows that the battery is good, the solar panel is good, all great. But that's kind of where the good news ends, because beyond that, I've not been particularly impressed with it. When I go side by side with the footage from the Tapo, and certainly from my iPhone, you can tell that the actual resolution's not that good. It's more of a blurred effect rather than a sharp, crisp effect. And I mean, that's against the Tapo, and I don't believe the Tapo's that good either. I've been disappointed by the footage. Then there's how often the motion detections come up, or at least should I say how sensitive they are. Even though I've got it set to the maximum sensitivity, the Tapo still picks up things quicker and more of them. For example, like when the foxes run through the garden at night, it's like the back end of it's just going out of shot on the Eufy's footage, whereas on the Tapo you can see it coming into shot and running around doing whatever it's doing and then running off. I'm missing vital bits of footage, and I don't have the confidence in the Eufy that if something was to come through my garden, which is a bit more nefarious and sinister, someone coming to try and break into something, I've not got the confidence that it's going to actually capture the person coming in before they're out of shot. That's not good from a security camera. The price of it, it's more expensive than the Tapo, but you're only getting 1 camera with the Tapo, whereas this you're getting 2 cameras and the hard drive, the NAS drive I'd call it, the network attached storage. That's really, really good, really good, except you're only getting a very small amount of onboard storage stock. Out of the box, it only has a small amount of hard drive space. I think it's 16 gigabytes. If you want to expand on that, then you've got to buy your own, either a SD card stick in the back or put in a SATA hard drive, which if you go for like a 1 terabyte hard drive, you're still looking around about £100. You may be able to get something on offer about £60-70, but it's still an increase in the cost. So you're well over £300 to get a large amount of storage. I do prefer the hard drive to the SD card solution, because with SD card you've got the risk that if someone can reach it, they can steal it. So yes, the camera might pick up them coming to steal it, but you'll never see it because they've run away with the memory card as well. That's not ideal. So it's nicer to have a separate hard drive system, a bit like my Swan CCTV system that I've got, because it replays all the camera footage to a centrally located hard drive. That works a treat. And while I really liked the external hard drive, the connection to it was very poor. This was something I didn't realise at first. When I set it up in this very room, I connected it to my app and to the cameras. It all worked really well, and I put it back there where my actual NAS drive is. And then I set up the cameras, started doing some tests, and then discovered when I came to review the footage, it wasn't recording all the footage. Wasn't too sure why. Then I noticed it was saying up here you've got the Wi-Fi logo to show what the state of the connection is, and it was very weak. Well, why is that? Because I know my Wi-Fi is good down there, and the Tapo camera was working perfectly fine. It's the fact that the camera is sending its signal by Wi-Fi to the hard drive. It's not sending the signal of its recording to your Wi-Fi first and then to the hard drive. It's sending it direct to the hard drive. So you're reliant on the connection between the camera and the hard drive. And it wasn't very good. I've had to relocate it. It's no longer there. I had to relocate it somewhere else in the house. Now, to me, that's okay because I've got a mesh Wi-Fi and I can move things around. But if you've not got that, you've got to think long and hard about how close you can get that hard drive to your camera. And bear in mind, you've got two cameras, so you may want a camera on the front of the house and on the rear of the house. And you've then got to have a centrally located position for that hard drive where both cameras can connect to it. Otherwise, the cameras are going to pick up motion, but they're not going to be able to send the recording. Bear in mind, all the hard drive space is on the hard drive. And that makes sense. It's not on the camera. There's no recording within the camera. So if that camera can't make a connection to the hard drive, you're not going to record whatever it is that it's picking up. That's not ideal. And then there's the app. I really love the TP-Link Tapo app. I've sung its praises many times in all the videos I've done in the past, and I still think it is much better than Eufy's app. Eufy's app it's clean, it's relatively easy to navigate, but I don't think it gives me the versatility. And when I've got a multiple camera setup, it's also sometimes not very responsive. There's a little arrow in the top corner. It's not very easy to hit. I've not got live footage of all the cameras. I've got two cameras up at the moment. One's just sat in my garage at the moment, so I've not put it on full test, but it is operational. But at the moment, it's not a live feed. The timer on there, they're both fixed. With the Tapo, I can see all 10 of my cameras operational on one screen. I can't do that with the Eufy app. I don't like that. Normally my iPad is sat up on there above my computer screen. So when I'm working, I can see all of my cameras operational at once. It works brilliantly. Can't do that on the Eufy. Well, certainly I've not been able to find a way of being able to do it. I don't like the Eufy app quite as much as the Tapo app. It's clean, it works, but it's not ideal. So, a conclusion about the Eufy E42 Solocam security camera kit. Well, it's not that this is a bad camera. The camera is actually pretty decent, and the solar panel works really well. And for the money, you're getting two cameras and a hard drive base. It's got a little bit of storage, but if you want to really expand on it, certainly if you're going to be using both cameras and they're going to be doing lots of motion detection, you're going to need to put your own hard drive in there. An SATA hard drive is going to cost you additional money. So you're going to be budgeting on just over £300 for the camera kit, the hard drive, and the additional hard drive you need to put into that kit. So the money-wise, it's not too bad, but I've just had issues with it. The footage I've been getting from it, it's not been good. It's set to 4K stream and it's set to 4K recording. Looking at it side by side against the Tapo and certainly against the iPhone, it's not really 4K. It's a bit blurry. The footage is a bit jaggedy. The motion detections aren't particularly sensitive, even though I've got the app set to full sensitivity. And the app itself, it's easy enough to navigate, but I don't particularly like it. I think the Tapo app is just far superior. So overall, it's a decent security camera. It's better than a lot of the security cameras I've tested. I've tested a lot of security cameras, and behind the TP-Link Tapo system, I think it's pretty good. I certainly wouldn't say don't buy it, but I would temper your expectations. I still prefer the Tapo cameras. I may not particularly like the Tapo C660, but the other cameras in their range, yeah, far better than what I've experienced there. Maybe it's just the solar panel cameras. They're not quite there yet. I'm going to see how it gets on over winter, because Sunset is at 7 p.m. and sunrise is at 7 a.m. So we're bang on the 12-hour per day of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. So from this point onwards, I'm going to lose the battery. I'm sure that as the nights lengthen, that battery is going to drop down, and it's going to be interesting to see how long it lasts deep into the winter nights. But overall, it's a decent camera, but not a brilliant camera. If I'm going to give it a 5-star rating, I'm going to give it a 3 stars out of 5. So it's decent, but could do better. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, do consider a like, a comment and a subscribe, and I shall see you on the next video. Take it easy.